Hey, yo, what the f***? This is a pally right here.
The late night flight is paid for by the following.
Give us a story. Give us a story. Give us one of them little crazy Najiyyah Ingram stories in Cuba. Come on, talk to us. Let's hear about it.
Okay, so I have a boyfriend in Cuba named Tony.
Okay, here we go.
This is an actual real life story. So when all five of us went to Cuba, all girls, we go there 2017. We have a tour guide that speaks English as well, and he takes us to this cave. And the cave have, you can climb walls and jump down, whatever. I don't swim. I don't know how to swim. My parents didn't let me go to the YMCA when I was young. So unless I was learning how to swim in the bathtub, I don't know how to swim. So I'm just sitting there, looking cute. And this guy come to me and he just started speaking Spanish. And the whole time I was in Cuba, people just kept coming to me speaking Spanish out of all five of us. And I even said to the tour guide before, like, why people come to me? He like, oh, you look like you can be from here. Like you got the features, the skin tone, like, this is probably why people come to you. So this guy come to me and he started speaking Spanish and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're saying. And he was like, you speak French? And I was like, nah, just English. And he was like, you pretty. And I was like, you look good too. And he was like, he said, can you be my girlfriend? And I was like, oh, that's what y'all do out here? Like first conversation, boom, just girlfriend. And I was like, yeah, I'll be your girlfriend. What's your name? And he was like, Tony. And I was like, well, I have a son. He was like, bring him here. I'll take care of both of you.
It's a bunch of us. I'm a hand in the colony. Hold on. Everybody on their mountain, everybody marching for a young nigga like me to get tsunami on it. I'ma get it, I'ma win it, baby. I'll be on my curry till I crash your bird 40 on the tech. Yeah, I'm acting nerdy if it's at the Appalachian to the Appalachian. I'ma do whatever that they take to make a black a nation. Hold on.
And now, here are your pilots, the informative Hanif Sowell and the greatest Henny Badger who has ever lived, Nassour Nuru.
In my opinion, Hanif, in my opinion, all right? I believe that Raekwon and Ghostface are the two best rappers on the Wu-Tang. That's just me. Mm-hmm. Now, they're going to be battling this weekend. Now, in a way, we're supposed to act as if we know what happened already because we recorded earlier because you about to take your vacay, my man. We want to make sure that we give our consistency to the people. But I guess let's just go ahead and just throw these predictions out here real fast. Let's just make it happen, honey. If you start it off and I'll just follow up, we'll just get this going real quick. Let's just make it happen.
Right. So my predictions, I guess, and for me, Raekwon takes the edge because Purple Tape, you know what I'm saying? Incarcerated Star Faces. His verse on Cream is what takes me over the top. Like I bang with Ray. I think Raekwon the Chef is probably Method Man is the best lyricist in the Wu-Tang Clan.
Whoa!
But then Raekwon would be the close second for me.
What? Method Man, your best lyricist in Wu-Tang?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, what about the Jizza, the RZA? I mean, not Old Dirty Bastard, but the Jizza, the RZA.
Raekwon the Chef, you got.
Yeah, not you got. Hold on, but definitely Raekwon. Definitely you got. I mean, not you guys. Oh my God, I just messed up his name. I'm talking about Ghostface and Raekwon. I mean, yo, listen, I'm not knocking him. I mean, Method was dope. Method is dope. He not dead. Method is dope. You know what I'm saying? But damn, he said Method was the best lyricist. But yo, we'll find out this Sunday. Well, technically, we don't really know. Let's just say we know a winner. All right, Hanif, who you think gonna win? You said Raekwon, right?
I think Raekwon going to have the best bangers in that.
I think Raekwon he's first of all, he's a dope lyricist, but if I do get to take a little quick jab at Raekwon, I think he's the poor man's version of Nas. I'm gonna go with Ghostface. Ghostface, just realistically had the better career. Not necessarily the better rap artist. I mean, I'm gonna say he the better rap artist, but I'm not here to make that compare and contrast. I really think they're both on the same level. Ghostface just got that voice. His voice is very distinct, and he has a character. I think that's what Raekwon misses. Raekwon doesn't have a character that necessarily goes and play with, I guess, rap gimmick, if you want to use that term. Like Ghostface come on some, yeah, yo, I'm you like, oh, yeah, whatever you said, Ghost. And Raekwon is just laid back. Hey, yo, what up, yo? What you mean, what up? You good? Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Give me a quart of juice and some Black and Mouse coming out. You be like, oh, all right, Ray, whatever you need. Black and Mouse, you said, right? Yeah, some sunflower seeds. Let's connect later, though. Okay, all right. You true, yo. Raekwon a good dude, you know what I'm saying? You always want to link up, you know what I'm saying? Do some business. Yo, that's a real black man right there. Politic, ditto, feel me? Like,
right.
I got
it's
you.
Real, son. That's good. That go hard.
It go hard, though. It go hard. Yo, I think we got some Facebook questions up in here, though.
Yeah, so I am known as the informative Hanif Sowell, and I think a part of that is because I am the inquisitive Hanif Sowell. So there's a few questions that I've had on my Facebook, and I wanted to get your take on some of these things.
All right.
Just quickly. How come when women are mad at their man, they post pictures with their cleavage showing?
When they're mad at their man?
Yeah, like they beefing what they do. Like if you in a relationship or a woman is in a relationship and her man is beefing, next thing you know, she posting shots on Facebook and her cleavage is showing. What is she trying to do with that?
I don't know what she trying to do, but I'm trying to make her madder. Shoot, I'm trying to like more of those pics. She's gonna be like, yo, why is my man liking all my pics? I'm like, girl, do you see what you putting out here on the streets?
Yeah.
Man, shoot, you know my thirst gonna sit there. I'm gonna like that.
Another question I have is, how come when women take breaks from sex and they decide that they want to be celibate for a little while, that they come back doing new tricks and more freaky stuff? What's happening?
Okay, so there is a two-way street with that. So you have some women that's definitely doing the Drake, practicing all that good stuff. That's happening. The practicing, that's happening. That's definitely that is happening. But there's also some women that will take a step back and watch a little platform, if you will, called Pornhub. Okay? And they like to educate themselves. Sometimes they may want to leave you for what they already saw. But, listen, you got to be secure. You got to be secure. You just got to be secure.
All right. How come women don't make freshly baked cookies from scratch so that when their man come home, he gets a good snack from work?
So because we live in a warped out generation, like, I don't know, Hanif, if you're catching this vibe, but the whole, like, think about it. We're quote unquote millennials, and we're frontline millennials. Like, we're like the first people that was called millennials. You know what I mean? Like, congratulations, Hanif, you are a millennial, And now we deal with the Generation X people. And realistically, they're not really too far from us. But that's a whole nother vibe. Like, that vibe is manufactured from 45-year-old great grandmothers, okay?
Yeah.
All right? All right? You know what I'm saying? So, the thing is, wait, what are we talking about?
Why women aren't baking cookies for men when they come home from work.
Those great grandmothers wasn't baking cookies.
You
know what I mean? Those great grandmothers were not baking cookies. They were at Marlowe's. They're at Foxtrot. All right? They out there getting hennied out by a couple of brothers, you know what I'm saying? And they saying, listen, let's go to the Benedict after. And they like, well, it. I mean, I ain't got to be home till 6 a.m. anyway. So let's just go and hit it. You know what I mean? And if they got a child, then it's like this. Well, look, the sitter gonna be there till 7 a.m. Shoot, I'm about to weigh that out. I'm about to just be here at 5:30 a.m. but just slide right in here.
That's crazy.
Amy, you got the kids? They got cereal?
All right. So my last question is, how come Stoney from the movie Set It Off didn't fill out FAFSA forms to get her brother financial aid? He definitely qualified for a Pell Grant. She didn't have to sleep with Nate to pay for his college.
Maybe she wanted to sleep with him. and still got 1,000 out of it. You know what I mean? Like, listen, the power of you know what? My holistic friend was over here earlier before we started recording. My holistic friend. And she had me watching, she didn't have me watching, but it was just on, so we watching it. Where these women were basically owning this cannabis company. And they're doing drive-bys. I don't know if that's the right term, but I guess deliveries, pickups, drop-offs, those type of terms. And they was just so pro-woman, mega pro-woman. I'm talking about, they were saying terms like, I just want y'all to know as a person, as a woman that works in the plant, I work in the plant. And I know what you're thinking, but no, I work in the plant with all the plants. And I just want you to know that all these plants, all these great potencies that you're smelling and what you're tasting, they're feminine plants. And all the women was like, oh, it's like, yes, they are feminine. That's right. Look, the earth starts with us. And I'd be like, yeah, sure. Like, what can I, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to discredit any of that. It's dope that it's encouraging. It's just funny to me because they definitely, I don't want to say feel, but just for the sake of the conversation, they definitely feel that men have, or the tradition of men have done something where it has disenfranchised them.
Who's your top 5 most powerful Black women of all time?
Okay, so just to let you know, bro, gotta let you know, bro, that I definitely took your word to heart. Powerful, okay?
Okay.
Not influential.
Got it.
Powerful. I'll give you a quick example. Michelle Obama is influential. That white woman that run Germany is powerful. Okay? Kerry Washington is influential. But Regina King is powerful. I just want you to know there's a difference for me.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to give you my 5, okay? I'm going to start from the bottom, work my way from the top, okay? You ready with me? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so number 5 is Kathy Hughes. She is the president and CEO of Radio 1 and TV 1, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, that's my number 5. Number 4, I have Shonda Rhimes. We all know who she is. Okay, I have a number 4. I have Sheila Johnson at number 3. Sheila Johnson is the wife of who's the dude that runs BET? Robert Johnson. They got divorced, but she still has a net worth of about $800 million. What she owns hotel franchises, and she has ownership. Check this out. She has ownership or shareholds in the Washington Wizards, NBA basketball team, the Washington Mystics, which is the WNBA team, and the Washington Capitals, which is the hockey NHL team in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Okay. Number 2, always got to give a throwback. Always got to put a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in your lineup just to let you know some history. So, of course, I'm talking about the self-made millionaire herself, Madam C.J. Walker.
Let's go.
Okay. I mean, look, we had a Najiyyah Ingram on our show today. We've had a Jonquil Davis, and we're going to have many more of them, and they derive off the Bible that Madam C.J. Walker have written. Don't ever forget that, okay? Madam C.J. Walker is excellent. Mary Kay should be buying Madam C.J. Walker's family Bentleys for the rest of her life, okay? Don't ever forget that. And then number 1, of course, is Oprah. What say you?
Oprah. Yo, your list is interesting, right? Because when I wrote my list, I noticed a pattern. After I wrote the 5 women that I wrote, I was like, oh, that's a theme of women that I'm attracted to for whatever reason, whether it be like I look up to them or I'm inspired by them or I'm interested in being romantic with them. It's all the same type of women. So I don't know if the same can be said for you, but if we notice that most of your women that you picked or all of them are in the media entertainment industry and they have made headway in that space.
That is true. Now, you know what's so funny? I actually went over this with it's so I feel bad that I'm saying this out loud, ladies, but with a dude about these 5 women. And he said the exact same thing that you just said. He said, come on, dude, just because you're in multimedia, you're going to pick some women that's in that field. And I said, well, hold on. What if the powerful Black women are in this field, though? Think about that. The same way our Latino friends and our Hispanic friends are running landscaping jobs, landscaping contractor jobs and construction jobs. Why can't our Black sisters create a niche in this field? Because we have the next generation in Issa, right? I'm just saying that maybe this is the hill that Black women can run amok on, and it would look great because they're doing great things in this field right now.
I'm going to give you my 5, and it's going to be telling of who I am.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go down the list as I wrote it.
All right.
Number 1, Harriet Tubman. She's Harriet Tubman. I mean, like she conducted on the Underground Railroad. She freed a bunch of slaves, and she was no nonsense. She was really serious about this freedom thing. She would shoot you if you wasn't a part of the plan, and something about that floats my boat, right? The second woman was Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth was big on women's suffrage, right? So she was like one of the mothers of feminism, and she was always talking about women's rights. But her thing was that she put Black women on the same level as white women. And in her speech, I am a woman, which was a question, like she was saying like, yo, this man over here is saying that he's going to hold the door for me. He's going to, lay out all the stops for me to be better. But she's like, yo, I'm a woman. I do all that myself. She was talking that in the early 1900s, 1800s. Like she was talking that talk way back then. And that was very, that was for that time, that was very revolutionary. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, she definitely earned number 5. If you put it at number 1, I wouldn't argue with that.
So the next one is Ida B. Wells. So Ida B. Wells is in that multimedia thing because she ran newspapers and she was the media, but she also advocated for women to carry guns. She also advocated, she was fighting against lynching, and she was very anti-lynching, and she was out on the forefront and promoting that. So all of these women so far, maybe Sojourner Truth, I haven't had any accounts of her having a gun, but Ida B. Wells and Harriet Tubman definitely packed the shotgun, right? So with that being said, my fourth person her name is Stagecoach Mary, right? So this is a little known Black history fact. Stagecoach Mary was prominent in Western expansion. She was born in in the late 1800s. She died in the early 1900s, but she was the first African-American woman to be a mail carrier. Now, and think about this. She's in the Wild Wild West, being a mail carrier and a Black woman. So she was kind of food out there. she carried a shotgun and she was no nonsense. And everybody knew who she was when she came to deliver that mail. Don't play with Stagecoach Mary because she would put something hot in you.
I'm definitely taking my mail if Stagecoach Mary is at my door. Stagecoach. Hey, Stagecoach. Hey. Thank you.
We don't want no problems.
No problem.
You know what I'm saying?
This is my bill, right? No problem.
Mary Fields is her actual name, but I want to give shout outs to her because she was a strong, powerful woman. And then the last one, 5, would be Assata Shakur. So Assata Shakur, I know I went back in history. Assata Shakur is probably the only person on my list that's still living. And I appreciate her because she was a Black Panther and then she transitioned into the Black liberation movement. She broke out of prison and fled to Cuba, where she's currently granted asylum. She's like the most wanted person on the FBI list for the last 30 years. And she lived life on her terms. She did not want to be a political prisoner and rot in jail. And she fucking took matters into her own hand and she got away. And I want people to keep hands off Assata and let her continue to be great because she was fighting for the liberation of Black people.
The only thing I would say to you, the only thing I would say to you, 5, is you just displayed another version of what powerful is through audaciousness. Those 5 women were audacious, they were bold, they were brave, and they actually had a lot of mother in them. They saw the next generation. It wasn't even about, they did selfless things. Realistically, what Harriet Tubman did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this woman would have got killed over saving 15 people and it would have been all worth it for her.
Right.
Because she know that somebody else would have just picked up the shotgun and would have continued the you know what I mean? Would have continued would have continued the tradition, basically.
Hey, yo, what the f***? This is some poly right here.
Would you live in an augmented reality?
All right, so I've been pushing and talking about this NFT thing, non-fungible tokens. We had an episode in the past where we talked about Fortnite and their influence on, the world and the community and how things are going. So I came across this article where a creator of an NFT is saying that humanity is going to be living in an augmented reality fairly soon, like within the next few years. So there's going to be a situation where we are in the comforts of our own home, but we are interacting with the world through virtual reality or other means of reality that isn't physical. So how do you feel about that? Could you live and thrive in a world that is augmented?
When you say, you such a projector of the mind. Could I live and thrive? See, if it was just live, I could be like, no, I ain't gotta live in that. And it's all good. But and thrive, now it's like, yo, dude, so you gotta put some work in on this virtual reality, bro. Like, don't even act like that. Come on, man. You is smart, yo. Funny as hell, yo. I'm saying, if I had to thrive, if I had to live and thrive in virtual reality, I'm pretty sure I would just get a podcast one in and I'll probably thrive. Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Like, if that's where life had to go. I'm not going to lie. In where my life is, where I've watched all these crazy futuristic movies from Mad Max to Total Recall to Fifth Element, they all have this certain idea of what the future is going to hold. If there is some type of virtual push that we all have to get into in order to live, I'll probably be one of the last lines of people to do it. Cause I'll be like, are you sure? Are you sure? You sure? Because last time you told me that Black Planet was the wave. Okay?
Right.
And before Black Planet, you told me that the dumb chat line was the wave, okay? Now I mean, now, you know what I mean? Back then, even before Facebook, it was MySpace. I thought that was the wave. Now we on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat had a little run. It died out. Vine had a run, died out. Now TikTok running stuff right now. Trump, well, I didn't mean to use his name, but you know, they got that new thing, Parler. I'm just saying it's all over the place as far as streaming, because for the most part, being online is cheap as hell to start. Technically, like think about this for a second. You can technically put a bullshit commercial on Instagram for like $20-something a day. Do you know how much money it costs to have a commercial on television?
Right.
Do you know how much money it cost Michael Jackson when he had to go on live television on ABC and was like, I did not touch those kids? Do you know how much money that costed him?
Wow.
Like he actually did that. Like, listen, I gotta know. I'm sorry. I know it cost $2 million. I gotta talk to the public. Are you crazy?
Right.
You know how many people bought Thriller? I gotta talk to the people. Hi. My name's Michael. Yeah, Michael Jackson. Yeah, you know, the one that moonwalks. Yeah, look, they're gonna say some things about me, and I did not do it. Now watch Remember the Time.
So me, I'm ready to dive headfirst into this, right? I don't have any apprehensions about any of this, but I feel like when we looking at the world and how it could be, it's just so much opportunity, and I equate it to the gold rush in the 1800s where America was like, yo, we don't know what's out west, but we going out there and we going to mine for gold and we going to become rich and we're going to do the thing. So I feel like the people who got there first and who figured out their method is going to benefit. I even asked the question, it had to be like 3-4 years ago. I asked the question on Facebook, like, yo, if your own personal Facebook was your own city, so say for instance, you took your Facebook profile and it was your city. You were the mayor of your own Facebook profile and you ran the city virtually. You know what I'm saying? How would people react to that? And now this is a real possibility because
they would say you ain't no real mayor.
But think about the influencers, right? If my following on Facebook, if I'm running it like a city and I'm like, yo, you have a business here, you have some real estate here, you are, you know, the treasurer, you are a city council person, and when we interact on this site, we treat it as if it's an actual city. I feel like there's some potential and opportunity in there for people to benefit from it.
Hey, yo, you over here making virtual jobs so you can have virtual sex, yo. You terrible, dog. I'm not listening.
Hold on.
This is Demolition Man.
Remember on, what was that? Which movie was that? It was Judge Dredd.
It was Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
It was Demolition.
Where they was having sex virtually. When we get to that point where sex is virtual, I think I might commit suicide. If you would like to be a guest on the Late Night Flight, hit me in my Facebook DM at Hanif Sowell or email us at thelatenightflight@gmail.com.
Should the WNBA lower the rim?
All right, so I came across this article where Shaquille O'Neal was offering his advice saying that the WNBA should lower the rim. And Candace Parker, a WNBA player, said that Shaq should basically mind his business and stay out of it.
Absolutely.
What say you?
Okay, so of course, we know that she's right, but there is something that Shaq. So let's start with what Shaq said, or what Shaq is leaning towards. Leaning towards. Shaq is saying, lower the rim. Why is he saying lower the rim? Because what do people pay to see? People dunking on people.
Right.
Okay. Now, let's understand this. Candace basically replied, got on her mother style and was like, listen, first of all, my children is on earth. So they're going to be the ones doing tomahawk jams, going to be crazy. Don't worry. Here's what we got to understand. It's kind of like this podcast, but this is on a whole nother level because they get sponsored by the NBA, which makes all type of money. So for the women that don't watch the sport, but complain and say there's a crazy wage disparity in the WNBA versus the NBA. I mean, well, yeah, the WNBA started in the mid-90s. This business just started. So right now, as it's a quote-unquote fledgling business, but it's a dope business, I would say give it another 10, 15 years. You're going to see the next generation of your Maya Moores and Candace Parkers coming out here doing tomahawk jams. You just got to give it the time.
Right.
Shaq should know better to not even say anything like that just because of what the climate is, period.
Right.
But don't get me wrong. I understood what he said. I disagree because, of course, it's like for the business, yes, I understand what you're saying, but I don't agree with it because, look, honestly, let me just be honest with you. The WNBA, whoever their PR is, they do a terrible job at promoting their athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank, period. They don't know how to promote their athletes. When they promote them, when I used to go to New York Liberty games with my ex-girlfriend, and they will always make them look so pretty. Like when you see them players in the billboard, they want to look like mega pretty. And I'm just looking like, yo, these women are not saying that they're not pretty. Some women are pretty. It's just that they're athletes.
Right.
Promote them as athletes. That's
Right.
what they are. They can do like 1,500 burpees in like 3 minutes in front of your face. Like they athletes, yo.
Right.
Promote them as such. You trying to promote them like some video vixens that just so happens to do a post up.
How about that?
You know what I mean? So it's disrespectful in that way. But that's their league. Like they need to figure that out.
They absolutely. So I was talking to somebody about this today, and they were saying that like it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't things, because if they should lower the rim to be more explosive and be able to do dunks and all of that, then the complaint is going to be like, well, you lowered the rim, so that's why you were doing it. You know what I mean? And they're going to question their athleticism because you had to make a concession in order for them to be able to do it. So like you said, allow them to be who they are, and eventually they'll evolve into a league that where women are normally dunking and doing more of the spectacular things that we see in the men's league.
The NBA was 15 teams of white people doing forward dribbles.
Right.
There was no crossovers. There was no post-up jump shots.
Right.
There wasn't no shorts that came to your knees yet.
Right.
Jordan was getting paid $1 or $2 million a year in the 80s.
Right.
He wasn't getting this, I only play 14 minutes a game, but I'm making $18 million. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The leagues have to progress. The business have to grow. But with all that being said, even if women are dunking right now about lowering the rim, to be honest with you, it's not going to make that much a difference. Let the WNBA just be the train that it's going to be right now. It's going to get better. It's getting better.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got prominent women in the league right now, and it's sad to say that they're not getting paid. Like, yo, listen, do I think Candace Parker should get paid $12 million a year? I mean, yes, obviously, sure. But based on the business that she's a part of, can they pay her? Not really. But I don't think that she should be getting paid only $60,000 a year either, though.
Right.
Like, honestly, Candace Parker and Maya Moore should be the only two women that should be garnering a straight, legit $1 million contract. You can, I'm not saying that there's other really good women. I just don't know their names like that. But I know those two sisters They should be signing a contract $1 million straight up. And you can just decipher the rest however you want to go with the other ladies that's in the WNBA. But they got to do a better job at paying their women as far as on a pay scale that makes sense to the business that's fledgling. But at the same time, listen, I'm not trying to disrespect teachers when I say that. But again, they're going state to state, arena to arena, dealing with other billionaire businesses. So with that being said, if your teaching union ain't going through McDonald's and Costco to be getting this sponsorship, then you can't sit there and say teachers should be getting paid more money. Get your teachers union to get sponsorship so you can be getting paid more money, because the WNBA is loaded with sponsorships. Okay. Plus, they're sponsored by the NBA. So they'll never, even if they fledge, they'll never die unless the NBA wants it to die.
Hey, yo, what the f***? This is some pally right here.
Why aren't women having more orgasms?
We have a special guest by the name of Najiyyah Ingram. She is the owner of Asili Beauty Products, and she's going to talk to us today about women and orgasms. Najiyyah, how are you this evening?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Everything's good. So if we could just get right into it. On Facebook, you mentioned that most women fake orgasms, and I wanted to get your take on that. So I've read articles, I've seen discussions about like a large majority of women who do not reach orgasms through penetrative sex, and we want to know what the problem is and how we can overcome it to make sure that women are having a more pleasurable experience with sex. So why do you feel like most women are faking orgasms these days?
For multiple reasons. I would say just trying to save their partner's ego. Just not wanting to have that uncomfortable conversation. Some people just want to get it over with. Like, if I fake it, you'll hurry up and get yours in because you probably caring about me and we can just get this over with. It's probably, probably not going to revisit this again, And then another thing I just feel as if that women are now coming into a situation that we're able to openly be sexual. And I think at one point in time, people just assume that if a woman is wet, basically, she got hers off. And that's not the case. So it's really not even about penetration at some point. I have spoken to women that they're like, I really didn't even have an orgasm off of oral. So it's really just not always about penetration, because some women, as long as we get ours off of the oral part, we good for the rest of the rest for the show. But if I'm not getting anything in part 1 and part 2, that's the issue. So, so I think it's for multiple reasons, but for the most part, it's just that uncomfortable conversation that I have to tell you, what you was doing, that wasn't it, basically. So
I see. So I was reading articles to try and see if I could put the pieces together from like a scientific perspective. And this one article that I came across that seemed pretty interesting. It gave me 7 reasons why women might not be able to orgasm, right?
Okay.
So now I'm going to tell you these reasons, and then you tell me if you agree or disagree, and then, we can discuss it.
All
right. So the number 1 reason is alcohol intake. If a woman drinks too much, the blood flow to her clitoris is impacted, and that could cause problems with the stimulation there.
I will disagree with that.
Okay.
Highly disagree.
Disagree. Okay. The second one, this is a little bit closer to what you were talking about. It's communication issues. Being able to tell your partner what you want, how you like it, is very important when it comes to a woman being pleased. One thing that I would say, they suggested, because of ego, because of insecurities or whatever, they suggested that you do a more positive approach as opposed to saying, don't do that. Say, I like it better when you do X, Y, Z to kind of help ease us into being more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got to protect that little ego. Why not?
So, all right. The third one is lack of body confidence. So if you're not really comfortable in your skin and you don't feel comfortable naked or around your partner, that's going to cause all types of mental distractions and you're not going to be able to get into it.
I agree with that.
Okay. The fourth one is medical conditions. So if you're suffering from any medical conditions such as multiple sclerosis, or if you're taking any sort of antidepressants or antihistamines, which is like allergy medication, then that could be causing issues with you.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
Sexual stimulation. So this is saying that most women do or orgasm from clitoral stimulation. Mm-hmm. So this is putting the onus on men where, well, no, it's actually keeping the onus on women. It's saying a lot of women don't explore their bodies enough to know what parts of their body is prime for reaching that orgasm. So they're encouraging you to kind of know what you want or what you need in order to be able to tell your partner.
Right. I agree.
Okay. 6 is social pressure. So if you're stressed from work, you have some financial issues, just life is kind of, throwing you lemons and you're not really feeling it.
You busting on that if you broke. So there you go right there.
You can't get into it. And then the last one was just your overall mental well-being. So if you're experiencing depression or anxiety, it's probably going to affect your ability to reach orgasm.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with with all of those except that first one.
So who do you put the onus on? Is it men? What should men do better, or does women need to figure out a different way that they could take accountability in this space?
Well, I put the ownership on the women, right? Because I'm a firm believer that people just do what they feel like work. So you're not going to just come into any situation knowing that this is not going to work. Most men approach a sexual situation based off of, what they feel like was working. A lot of women bodies are different, and it's up to us to say, that's not it. This sex is not just for one party. And I think that communication is the number one thing. We will discuss what are we before we discuss what you should be doing. Like this is what's making me happy. This is what I need. And don't get me wrong, those conversations are very uncomfortable. I've been in situations that I had to have that conversation. And my thing is this, like, if this is what we're going to be doing, if this is going to be a consistent thing, we're both having to have that conversation. What I like to do is I like to lead out with, like, what do you like? Like, what do you like? What do you like as a man, or what pleases you? Because at that point, that's going to open the floodgate of, now I can tell you what I like, or I will hope you would then say, okay, now what do you like? So it's not me just, all right, whatever. Now I'm trying to open it up because the ego is very fragile, and I don't want you to feel like I'm coming down on you, but listen, no. I'm a firm believer of zodiac sign. I'm a Scorpio woman. We are very in touch with our sexuality. And I can say that if the sex is not good, I will not be around for next time. It's really, that's just really where it stops.
Please subscribe and download to The Late Night Flight on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify. Every subscription helps us towards our efforts in having a career in podcast radio broadcasting.
Hey, yo, what the f***? This is some Pally right here.